Hi, how's everybody doing? Boys and girls, let me know if you're having fun. Click like or ask your mommy or daddy or someone to click like and make sure to ask them to subscribe so when I give you more classes and fun projects, you'll know about them. So last time I talked about switching to a brush that worked just a little better. So I have one, it's still a children's brush. It's not an expensive adult brush for when I paint with, adult people. But it's a little better than the brush that comes in the set. And there's nothing wrong with the paint that you get in the set. Here's one that is my granddaughter's, and it's just a few dollars and it's fun. And here's one of the paintbrushes that came in it. But this one is kind of like cut off, and this one, when it's wet, can come to a point. And I did wet it. In fact, I'll wet both. I'm using paper towel to tap off extra water so I don't dribble. So there they are wet. This is the one that comes with children's, and this is one that you can just buy and take good care of it. And it's just, don't buy anything expensive. Definitely should be like around $6 to $8 at the most if you're listening, parents and grandparents. All right. So I wanted to show you some Easter eggs. I love this season. I don't know how much you celebrate, but when my children were little, we'd go to Easter egg hunts and we'd make fun little projects around the house. And I was thinking about one that I wanted to do with you. So I'm going to make some eggs, and I'm going to start out with yellow eggs. So I'm going to a yellow color. And if you took any other classes, you know you shouldn't go back and forth in the water, right? This is just a little jar. I can't hold it too far sideways or it'll tip over. But it's a little mason jar, but you could use any cup or jar that they let you use in the house. So instead of going back and forth, I get a little water and I mix it up and I decide if it's good enough. And if it needs a tiny bit more water, I only tip it in a tiny bit. I don't go in and swish because then I'll take off all the paint that's already on the brush. Okay, so I'm going to put teeny little tap and I'm going to do 3 eggs. Now, if you want to first do this, and I'm smearing with my hand and I don't care, it's just fun, right? If you want to first draw it with a pencil, you may, but I think even if it's not perfect, we will have fun with it. And I'm going to fill it in. And this was a yellow, but I had a little color, that metal left in there. So it's got a little bit of a brownish yellow color. And I'm just filling it in. And if I didn't do it perfect, it's just fine. I'm using regular paper that's like from a printer or an old-fashioned typewriter. Around our house, it's with the printer. So there's my very first egg. Now, I could keep painting it and keep it real wet. Let me show you from the side. This is how you can tell it's wet, because it's shiny. Do you see how it's shiny when I hold it sideways? You can see some wet shine. And that's when you know it's still wet. And I'm going to leave it alone so it can dry out. Now I'm going to go, this is what it looks like. And see, I smeared a little bit, I dribbled. It's okay, we're just having fun. It's okay. So the next one, I did a yellow one. So I think the next one I'm going to do is an orange one. I'm tipping in the water a little bit, making the paint come alive. And now, because I smeared a little bit, I'm going to go close. Notice I didn't even have to tip in to the paint again. I just got a tiny bit of water and I'm making the paint go around. Now I need more paint. I think when you first start painting, boys and girls, it's easy to use too much water and too much paint. So be thinking about that, and then you'll figure it out. The more you paint, each time you're going to learn something new, right? So there's an orange one. So now we have a yellowy egg and an orange egg. And this one's more wet than this because I painted the yellow egg first. So the yellow egg is not as shiny wet as the orange one. The orange one still is a little wet. And if you turn it upside down, this is the yellow one, which is still wet. And this is the orange one, which has a couple little blobs, but is still more wet because I did it last. So why don't we do a blue one? So I'm going to go into blue next. And this one, I'm not going to touch the other one. I touched the other one before because I thought, I left a little smear. Why don't I just paint right over it? So that's what I did. I made the little smear part of the egg. Do you notice that as I make this shape is oval? If you look at eggs, most eggs aren't round, they're oval. And that's a good way to remember your shapes if you're learning your shapes. Now, if you're an older kid, then you already know that, but I'm sure you'll be patient when I tell some of the younger ones, right? So there's the blue egg. Now, I didn't do it just perfect, and that's okay. They're just fun, aren't they? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making egg decorations. Now I'm going to put some shapes on the eggs. And which egg should I do first? I should do this egg because it's drier. If I paint them 1, 2, 3 for their main colors, now I'm going to paint their decorations also 1, 2, 3 in that order, because that gives each of them, when I paint this, it gives this and this a chance to finish drying. And this is the first one I did, okay? So the first egg, I might put pink on it. Now you may not have every color I have, so you choose your colors. You know, it would be pretty on this one is blue, or on this one, blue. But I have 12 colors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I have this little empty part, which is called a well, that you can mix colors in. Maybe your paints don't have all of these colors or the well, and that's fine. You paint with the ones you have. I'm sure they're very nice. So I'm putting a little water in here. And I see a little purple showing, probably because I had a tiny bit of blue between. So the first design is going to be zigzags. See? Zigzags. I'm going to dip my brush in the very tip. I'm not swishing because I still have paint on my brush. And now I'm going to do one right under it. If this is a little hard for you, you could pick another design, and I know it would be very pretty. Whatever colors you want, you could do little rainbows, you could do little circles or little splotches, anything's fine. So that's my first one. If I want to, I could do another one under there, but I think I'm going to leave it like that and do something funny with it at the end. You have to wait to the end and then I'll show you. Deal? All right, let's go to the orange one. And for the orange one, I'm going to use red. So I dip my brush, I get a little water, I swish, 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 and if it's too much water, I tap off my extra. All right, so for the orange one, I'm going to do designs. I'm going to do like circles, or I could make them flowers, or I could do little dots all over. What mood are you in today? When I do circles, I do first the left side, the left way, and then the right way. I find that to be a little easier. On this one, I did right, then left. But the main thing is, instead of doing a circle like that, you're going to do one side first, whichever side you pick, and then the other side, and then fill it in. So here are my red dots on my orange Easter egg. Yay! And now the last one, because I painted this last blue, now I'm going to also decorate it last. This one I'm going to make swirls. I'm going to get purple. I rinsed my brush and you can see my colors turning colors. My water's turning colors. So now I'm going to, and I left a little water on there, but it'll dry. I'm going to go into purple and I'm going to do swirlies. You like the swirlies? And get a little more purple. And I'm going to do swirlies all the way down and all the way up. What do you think? Those are okay. I'm going to leave them. Now I could color some of them in like I did here, but I like that it looks different. So I'm going to leave it alone. So remember when I told you that I had a little funny surprise to show you with the first egg? I'm going to show you now. If you have an orange or black or brown crayon, you can do it with the crayon. And if you don't, you can use a pencil or you can use paint, whatever you want, whatever you're in the mood for. I'm in the mood to use crayons. And the funny thing I want to do is have legs coming out of this one, like there's a little chicken walking around inside. And I'm going to show you how to make the feet. So first I'm putting legs and I'm putting them in the front in this section. And I might even put like a little half circle, like they're coming out of it. I'll show you closer. I'll move it in so you can see it. So you can see I still have water drying. And when you paint with watercolor, you can get some water sometimes, and that's okay. So I put a little line like that on top of the sticks. There's a big one. So here's the stick, which is going to be a leg. And here's the little thing on top of it, just a little one. So it looks like it's coming out of the egg. And then the next thing I'm going to do, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make 3 lines, kind of like a fork, but they're spread out more because they're going to be like webbed feet. 1, 2, 3. See? And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect them by little swoops. There's 1. And there's 2. And then I'm going to either paint or color it in. I think I'm going to get orange and paint inside the cute little legs. You can do what you're in the mood to do. Swoop. And if you color a little bit outside the lines or paint a little bit outside the lines, that's okay. If the feet turn out bigger than you were going to do it because you're fixing the section like I am, that's okay too. So this one I'm going to make a little bigger. There you go. So I'm not going to do his eyes or his arms. I'm just going to make it funny that it's a little egg walking around with a little chickie inside. That to me would be funny. Now, if you want to do it with the other eggs, you might, but part of me thinks it's funny to just leave one, just one being silly like that. You can decide if you want to be silly with all 3 or just one of them. So those are my 3 Easter eggs. You can do them any color you want. You can put those little chicken feet under them if you want. Or you can leave that off. Maybe you liked it before I put little chicky legs. Or you could put chicky legs now that you know how to do it. I would say put it towards the front. So if I did it here, I would do it here and here instead of back here, I think. But you can decide what you like too. Another thing you could do to be fun is you could draw other ones and just with pencil or crayon play around with it too to make different ones. So there you go. These are my Easter eggs, and I hope you had fun with them. I did. You know, painting makes me happy. I hope it makes you feel like you have a smile on your face too. You have a good one. Bye-bye. See you later.